Hey guys, Avishai here, and today I'm going to teach you the difference between a market-weighted ETF and an equal-weighted ETF. Are you ready? Let's begin. So let's say you want to buy the S&P 500 and you're about to buy an ETF. There are two options for you. You can buy a market-weighted ETF of the S&P 500 or you can buy an equal-weighted ETF of the S&P 500. These two ETFs, even though they track the S&P 500, will not act the same. Let me explain. So imagine a pie, and that pie will have either different size slices or equal size slices. This is very similar to the difference between a market weighted ETF and an equal weight ETF. The equal weighted ETF is the pie with all the slices in the same exact size, meaning that if there are 500 shares in the S&P 500, they're all going to have the same amount of weight in that ETF. A market-weighted ETF is exactly the opposite. You get different size of slices, and each one of these sizes will affect the whole ETF by its size, meaning that a large size will move the ETF much more than a small size. Here's an example from the S&P 500. If you look at the FANG stocks, mega caps, Facebook, Google, Amazon, Apple, other names such as Netflix, Berkshire Hathaway, these names can move the market. And the reason they can do that is because in a market weighted ETF, they have much more power to move the ETF than a smaller stock inside the S&P 500. So if you're looking at the big names again, you have Visa, MasterCard, Tesla, JP Morgan, and all the names that I said before, which these names will move the market much more than the smaller names in the market-weighted ETF. So you're probably asking yourself which one is better, and today I want to help you understand in what scenarios should you own a equal-weighted ETF and in what scenarios you should own a market-weighted ETF. You should own an equal-weighted ETF, especially if you see the market hitting new highs, but you are seeing that most of those new highs are happening because only the heavily weighted companies are moving the market. That's when you're going to want exposure to a equal weighted ETF, as there is less of a chance when a pullback comes for that ETF to go with that pullback aggressively. You're going to want to own a market weighted ETF, especially if the S&P 500 has been battered, because usually it's going to be the heavily weighted stocks which are going to pull the S&P 500 up. So remember, when you see the S&P 500 index move, it moves because of its market weight, and a equal weighted ETF is a great way to kind of neutralize that weight that the companies have on the top. And an equal weighted ETF is a better representation of the whole market, while a market weighted ETF kind of represents mostly the companies on the top. Here's like a fun fact for you. If you take the top 10 companies on the S&P 500, their market cap is larger than the bottom 200. That just shows you the differences there are between the companies on the top of the S&P 500 and the companies on the bottom in terms of market cap and weight. Oh, and for those of you who did not understand by now, the market cap is the main weight factor. You can't have a lot of weight on the S&P 500 if you don't have a large market cap. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button for the algorithm, and if you want to see more content like this, consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you guys next time.